How you doing, everybody? Larry here. So I was thinking about a question is, should we be buying gear, not gear, pedals specifically. We can hone in on the other parts of this maybe in another video at some other time if you want. But anyway, should we be buying pedals based on reviews that we've heard online? Alright, everyone. So, let's see. Should we be buying pedals from reviews that we heard online? I'm okay with it. What I'm going to tell you is the most important fact about buying a pedal is most pedals will sound differently in your setup than they will in some other setup. So even if you go to the local guitar store and you plug it in and you try it, it's gonna sound different in their store. They probably have a bigger, open, wider environment, right? So it's gonna sound a little different in there anyway. They probably have a different amp, different guitar. So it's gonna sound different there than when you get it home. It's just the way it is. You have to try it in your rig. That's the most important thing. So I think trying it, it's nice to try it in the store, but honestly, I think you can buy them by watching many reviews online and watching reviews of people that you people that you watch and trust, you know. So there's pedals that we all know what they are. They're staples. The Ibanez Tube Screamer, for one. You know, the only thing you might want to find out about this online is which one of the three you want to buy. What do I have? I think I have the TS9 here. Fine, it sounds great. You could buy those online all day probably. You know what they are, right? It's like buying a Fender Stratocaster online. You've played one before. You know what they feel like, most likely. You know what I mean? So to see one online and go, oh, that's a great price, you can go ahead and buy it, right? You know what it's going to feel like. So you know what the pedal's going to sound like. I bought one pedal online that I sent back. It just didn't work when I got it here. It didn't sound good to me. I watched a lot of reviews about it. It was kind of my fault. They pointed out that it sounded better in stereo than not in stereo. And I don't have a stereo setup, so it's my fault, but I took a chance. And they had a return policy, so watch for that too. I returned it. I tried it, and I returned it. Let me see. I got Super Badass. I bought this in the store, local store, but I didn't try it, actually. I just checked out a lot of reviews online, and I drew my own consensus of if I liked it or not. Plus, you want to have, another important fact is you want to have good speakers at home. You don't want to listen to guitar pedals through your laptop speakers. Put on a set of headphones or something. Pay attention to how the reviewer is recording. Are they going, directly into the computer? Are they micing up their amplifier? Is it going through the... You don't always know these things, but you can kind of tell when you hear it. Personally, right now I'm going right into my the microphone on the camera. So I'm using a MXR sugar drive into the Russian Pickle into a carbon copy, right? So that's pretty cool. So yeah, you could buy a pedal. Even though I buy a lot of my pedals, I buy them in the store locally, I still watched all the reviews for them on YouTube for people that I like and trust, and I kind of knew I liked the pedal anyway. Anyway, sometimes you find new pedals by watching reviews, stuff you haven't seen, and it catches your eye, and then you start on you go down a black hole of YouTube videos of watching things about that pedal until you figure out if you want it or not. So yeah, I hope that helps. You just have to watch a lot of reviews, know how they're recording it in the review, if you could find out. You know, sometimes it'll sound like the room. It's not always going to sound, you know what I mean? The important, like I said in the beginning, how does it sound in your guitar rig? Because it's going to sound different. As soon as you get it home and plug it in, it's not going to sound like you heard. Most likely. You might have to dial it in, or, you know, play with the knobs to get it how it sounded in the video where you really liked it. So that's all. It's definitely going to sound, they're definitely going to sound different. I personally buy pedals based on watching a whole bunch of reviews, and then I make a decision. And I really don't need to play it in the store. They usually have some small solid state amp set up for you to play through with thin guitar cables and you know, $100 guitar. And that's okay if that's what your setup is, but if it's not your setup, it's not going to sound like the same in your rig. So you got to get it home. You got to try it. That's the moral of the story. So yes, you can get a pretty good idea of what it's going to sound like through watching online reviews, right? And not everybody online is trying to sell you things. So you know who you watch, who's trying to sell you on stuff and who's not, right? I hope. All right. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'll probably make another video with these sunglasses on because I kind of like this, unless I put them back in my car. But I've been on a Casey Neistat black hole for the last week, so if anyone who watches him knows what I'm talking about. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.